Chapter 2341, So What? 3. Perhaps, those who addressed her sweetly and took money from her laughed at her behind her back. All of the Wang family's money had gone to protecting Wang Yang, and her money had made up for that. That meant that she had been using the Zhu family's money to hide the truth of Zhu Baoqiu's death. At the thought of that, Mother Zhu's expression changed. She felt as though her whole world was spinning and she could hardly breathe. She no longer had the will to live. She was a Zhu, while her son and husband were Wangs. Therefore, they were a true family. She was nothing more than an outsider who had given birth to a Wang. How interesting. Mom, don't scare me. Are you feeling unwell? I'll get the doctor here immediately. Wang Yang had seen the change in Mother Zhu's expression, and he hurriedly pressed the button by the bed to summon the doctors. Li Yan had been like a painting this whole while. She had not even dared to take a deep breath while Wang Yang was talking to Mother Zhu, much less interfere in the conversation. She had not had many interactions with Jiaonan, and they had not been pleasant. But her instincts told her that Jiaonan's words had not been to sow discord. In fact, they were probably true. Even though Wang Yang was her husband, she shivered upon thinking that Wang Yang had plotted against Zhu Baoqiu so viciously in his teenage years. Others would have felt the slightest tinge of guilt. Wang Yang should have been content with the help that Zhu Qinqi had given him all these years. Unfortunately, Wang Yang's eventual goal was still the Zhu family's assets. Since he had not gotten hold of it, he had insisted on going through with a lawsuit against Jiaonan. There was one thing Jiaonan was right about. Wang Yang should be clear of why Zhu Qinqi had not wanted to hand over the Zhu family's assets to him. It was just that Wang Yang had thought that he had cleaned up after himself perfectly and that all evidence had disappeared since 20 years had passed. Therefore, he had gotten so arrogant to the point that he feared nothing. Unfortunately, there was no way of concealing the truth. They would need solid evidence to send Wang Yang to prison. But the Zhu family's assets were in Zhu Qinqi's hands, and he didn't need any evidence to hand them over to anyone. He hadn't even needed to let Wang Yang know of his intentions before making his decision. If Zhu Qinqi had already known about the truth behind Zhu Baoqiu's death, Li Yan's questions about the will would be answered. Had she had control of those assets, she would much rather have donated all of the money to others than let the person who had killed her son take advantage of it. What's wrong? The doctor rushed over and was furious upon giving Mother Zhu a checkup. Didn't I tell you that the patient is old and her physiological functions are much worse than an average person's? She can't afford to be angered. I just told you about that just now. But why are you guys so uncooperative? Do you not want her to recover? If that's the case, it doesn't matter how skilled we are since you're angering her as we attempt to treat her. Doctors weren't afraid of difficult patients but uncooperative patients and their families. Li Yan apologized to the doctor sincerely. She would do as the doctor said. Once Mother Zhu's condition stabilized, Li Yan suggested, "Dear, Mom's still angry. She probably won't calm down for now. She won't calm down with you around either. If you don't mind, I can take care of Mom for the time being. You can come back and visit her when her condition is more stable. Then, you can apologize to her. You're Mom's biological son. I'm sure Mom won't be foolish when it comes to choosing between her son and her nephew." Li Yan had never had any doubts about that. After all, she was a mother herself. She would never hesitate in making such a decision. I think Mom's angry about other things as well. Go back and think through it. You can come back and visit Mom after some time. Otherwise, Mom might very well get ill from anger. Because of Li Yan's advice, Wang Yang agreed. All right, take care of Mom. I'm worried about leaving our son to a nanny too. Try to convince my mom. If you have any news, remember to contact me. Because Mother Zhu had suddenly gotten ill, Wang Yang had been in a panic. That was why he had not read between the lines of Li Yan's words and had not felt that she was blaming him for Zhu Baoqiu's death too. Mother Zhu's illness had already thrown Wang Yang into a frenzy. How was he to know that his mom would refuse to believe him even after his explanation and her knowing that he had a conflict with Jiao Nan? His mom was even insistent that he had killed Zhu Baoqiu, and she had even brought the entire Wang family into the picture. Even though whatever his mom had said was true, this was the past. He no longer felt the same way toward the Wang family. Now, his mom was the closest kin he had apart from his wife and son. Li Yan stroked her forehead. In the past, she had been living in the capital with Wang Yang, while her son had been in Pingcheng with her mother-in-law. When her mother-in-law came to the capital, her son naturally tagged along. She had been troubled that she had forgotten about her son. Yes, when Mom left the house with me, she left him in the care of someone. It's not early anymore. Hurry and pick him up. Otherwise, he might get scared and cry. It wasn't easy taking care of the elderly and children at the same time. Worse still, their family was going through tumultuous times, making it even more stressful. Li Yan couldn't help but hope for these days to end soon. It wasn't as though money was all that important. Jiao Nan did not care about anything that happened in the Wang family. The only thing that remained constant was her attitude toward Wang Yang. Jiao Nan had thought that Wang Yang would no longer be able to continue with the lawsuit after she had met him. But she had not expected to meet him again so soon. Of course, as Li Yan's husband, Wang Yang had chosen to meet Jiao Nan right as she was leaving her classes. Otherwise, Wang Yang would never have gotten the chance to speak to Jiao Nan since he couldn't enter the Zai family's house. Do you have some time to spare? Wang Yang glanced at Jiao Nan coldly and indifferently as though she was his enemy. Jiao Nan was no stranger to that. After all, stopping one from getting rich was akin to killing one's parents. That explained Wang Yang's attitude. So what if I have no time? Chapter 2342, You're Impressive, 1. Wang Yang took a deep breath. It was true that he couldn't do anything if Jiao Nan were to say that she had no time to entertain him. Let's have a chat. I promise you that I'll withdraw the lawsuit once we have this chat. As long as you answer my questions and I get an answer, I won't fight with you for the Zhu family's assets. Jiao Nan's eyes glimmered. Do you think I'm afraid of you snatching it from me? If he tried to do so, it would only delay the result, but it would not change the fact that the Zhu family's assets would eventually belong to her. In front of Wang Yang, Jiao Nan had the right to be demanding. Wang Yang laughed self-deprecatingly. You're right. You don't have to worry whether or not I withdraw the lawsuit. Everything is in your favor since my uncle left behind that will. There's nothing you need to worry about. The only person who has to worry is me. As he said that, Wang Yang had the urge to vomit blood. He couldn't understand why he had landed up in such a state. He had always thought highly about himself. He was not even losing to Zai Sheng. It was a mere woman. He couldn't even compete against Zai Sheng's wife, so what gave him the right to want to surpass Zai Sheng? He had been so highly regarded by the Wang family that he had forgotten about his true abilities. All right, I'll take it as though I'm doing charity. Let's find somewhere to have a chat. Having provoked Wang Yang, Jiao Nan finally agreed to talk to him. Jiao Nan thought that it was rather strange for Wang Yang to be taking the initiative to give up on the Zhu family's inheritance. She had always thought that Wang Yang would choose the Zhu family's assets over his own life. After all, Wang Yang had already committed an unpardonable sin at a young age for the sake of it. They chose a private room in a quieter tea house. After the waiter exited the room, Wang Yang picked up his teacup and took a sip. It was a small cup that held no more than a mouthful of tea, but Wang Yang took a good minute to finish it. Since Wang Yang refused to speak up, Jiao Nan simply stared at him since she was in no hurry either. Only when Jiao Nan felt that Wang Yang was in the mood did she say, "You should know that I have 3 children at home. I don't spend much time outside. If you're going to continue staying in a daze, you can get your answer and have a chat with me next time." With that, Wang Yang gulped his tea down. How did you know that I was involved in Zhu Baoqiu's death? No matter how hard it was, Wang Yang had to ask this question. Otherwise, he would never be able to let it go. So many years had passed since Zhu Baoqiu's death, and he had thought that the truth had been buried along with time. He had always thought that he had finally toiled through the toughest of times after the Wang family had paid such a high price for him. But reality hit him hard in the face, so hard that he couldn't even stand back up or live his life well ever again. Based on his earlier confidence, Wang Yang couldn't understand how the truth behind Zhu Baoqiu's death had been exposed. It made no sense. It was you, wasn't it? After Zhu Baoqiu's death and learning about Jiaonan's existence, Wang Yang felt that Jiaonan was, perhaps, his greatest enemy in his entire lifetime. Even Zhu Baoqiu had not pressured him so badly while he had been alive. Zhu Qingqi had probably left behind such a will because he had already known about the truth behind Zhu Baoqiu's death. Wang Yang couldn't think of anyone else who would spend the effort to investigate Zhu Baoqiu's death and to tell Zhu Qingqi about it. Even Zai Sheng wouldn't have done something like that. Zai Sheng was a noble man. He hadn't even tried to snatch anything from the Zhu family. Besides, the Zai family had hardly even interacted with the Zhu family before Zai Sheng's marriage to Jiaonan. In that case, it was impossible for Zai Sheng to even have his eyes on the Zhu family's assets. There was only one person in this entire world who was capable of changing both Zhu Qingqi and Zai Sheng at the same time, Jiaonan. Wang Yang hated Jiaonan very much. After all, he had looked down on her for being an old woman, but she had turned out to be the biggest culprit behind his downfall. It was Jiaonan's appearance that had rendered his past years of effort void. Now, he didn't even have a chance of turning back. What Wang Yang couldn't accept the most was that his mom had changed after learning about the truth regarding Zhu Baoqiu's death. He could feel that his mom would still love him all the same, but she couldn't help but feel guilty because of Zhu Baoqiu's death. And this guilt wasn't just toward Zhu Baoqiu. It was toward the entire Zhu family. Wang Yang was clear that his mom treated him as a criminal who had sinned against the entire Zhu family. His mother was in good health usually, but after such a huge psychological problem, her health had deteriorated too. While she had been a young lady, Mother Zhu had had a good mindset and had been pampered by her elder brother and father. After getting married, her husband had never dared to raise his voice to her. Because of this, Mother Zhu had nothing to worry about. Compared to other grandmas who had white hair, Mother Zhu had a head full of black hair. But ever since Mother Zhu had been admitted into the hospital, she had been depressed and refused to speak to anyone. She simply sat there in a daze. In the short span of 3 days, Wang Yang witnessed his mom's head of black hair transform into a head full of white hair. He felt rather devastated about that. They had managed to hide the truth from Mother Zhu rather well all these years. Who would have known that Mother Zhu would have such a drastic response to the truth? Mother Zhu loved Wang Yang. Similarly, Wang Yang cared for his wonderful mother. Not only had Mother Zhu's hair turned white in these 3 days, but her body had also gone haywire. The doctor's words that Mother Zhu was psychologically ill and no longer had the will to live struck Wang Yang like a bolt out of the blue. That was why her physiological functions had deteriorated significantly along with it. Wang Yang was in so much pain that he was at a loss for words. Even if Mother Zhu had never said anything to Wang Yang, nor complained that Wang Yang had been too brutal and vicious to Zhu Baoqiu at such a young age, Wang Yang knew that Mother Zhu was between a rock and a hard place. If she couldn't solve this dilemma, it wouldn't be long before Mother Zhu would go down and face the Zhu family. Li Yan saw Wang Yang's concern for Mother Zhu and her heart ached. She couldn't help but ask, "Dear, is money more important than Mom? Mom's feeling upset because she's become a sinner in the Zhu family and she can't face the Zhu family anymore. She already feels this way toward the Zhu family and you still want the Zhu family's money." Chapter 2343, You're Impressive, 2. In the past, her mother-in-law had always felt that it was only right for the Zhu family's money to go to Wang Yang since he was the last descendant of the Zhu family. No matter what underhanded methods Wang Yang used to take back the money, it was all right for him to do so. After all, that was what Wang Yang rightfully deserved. But now, it went without saying that Mother Zhu no longer felt this way. Her mother-in-law now felt that she was a sinner who had sinned against the Zhu family, and her son, Wang Yang, had wronged the Zhu family. With such a huge premise, her mother-in-law would probably be devastated if her son insisted on taking the Zhu family's money. Her mother-in-law was sure that Wang Yang was no longer worthy of inheriting the Zhu family's assets. In fact, there was no way Wang Yang should ever have control over the Zhu family's assets. After this change, Mother Zhu stood her ground. In the past, she had always felt that the Zhu family's assets belonged to Wang Yang alone. Qiaonan was being shameless to claim it for herself. Now, Mother Zhu felt that anyone could have the Zhu family's assets, except Wang Yang. Qiaonan's words had had a great impact on Mother Zhu. Qiaonan had already made herself clear that she would much rather burn all of the Zhu family's money than let Wang Yang have it. That was just about what Mother Zhu felt at this point in time too. Anyone could receive the Zhu family's inheritance but Wang Yang, who was responsible for this whole mess. At the thought of that, Li Yan sighed. Zhu Qingqi had finally died after such a long time, and she had thought that her glorious days had finally come. Then, her friends would have to look up to her. Who would have known that the Zhu family's assets would have nothing to do with the Wang family? Even her mother-in-law refused to stand on her husband's side. There was no longer any point in continuing with this lawsuit. Wang Yang had said that Qiaonan had favor from everyone, and that couldn't be more true. Even the heavens were on her side. Was there still a need to continue fighting this lawsuit? Of course not. Because of Li Yan's question, Wang Yang was stunned. He realized that it was indeed difficult for him to give up on his ambition toward the Zhu family's inheritance. The problem was that Wang Yang didn't want to become an orphan even though he was already a father himself. His mom was more important than money. What else could Wang Yang possibly do after getting such an answer? Of course, he naturally sought Qiaonan out to get an answer to his question before withdrawing the lawsuit. Then, he and Qiaonan would be nothing more than strangers. Qiaonan poured herself a cup of tea and looked at Wang Yang ridiculously. What do you mean? Your question is so vague. How do you expect me to have an answer? Qiaonan had not understood Wang Yang at all, but she was more than willing for Wang Yang to explain himself. Knowing how vicious Qiaonan was, Wang Yang's face paled. He had been such a person before. How did you know that I was involved in Zhu Baoquo's death? Could it be that Qiaonan had seen or heard something all those years ago? Since you already knew about it, you must have known that Zhu Qingqi would definitely suspect me and investigate the matter as long as you mentioned something to him. It would have been much easier to convict me then. He had always seen Zhu Qingqi being indifferent to Zhu Baoquo, hardly having any interaction with him at all. It was because of this attitude that Wang Yang had always thought that Zhu Qingqi had preferred his nephew over his own son. Since that was the case, Zhu Qingqi would probably not be too sad over Zhu Baoquo's death. After all, he was still around. He was much better than Zhu Baoquo in every way. Without Zhu Baoquo, Zhu Qingqi would have one less person to worry about. Then, his burden would be lighter as well. The difference was that he could bring Zhu Qingqi honor and let everyone know that Zhu Qingqi had a brilliant and outstanding nephew. As for Zhu Baoquo, he had nothing. All he would bring to Zhu Qingqi was shame. It was better for Zhu Baoquo to be gone since he would do nothing but stand in the way and ruin the Zhu family's reputation. It was only after Zhu Baoquo had left that Wang Yang had discovered that the reality wasn't so. A biological son was a son, after all. No one could replace Zhu Baoquo's place in Zhu Qingqi's heart. After learning about Zhu Baoquo's death, Zhu Qingqi turned into an enraged beast who scared the young Wang Yang so much that he had teared uncontrollably. Thankfully, it wasn't just Wang Yang who had cried at that time. Even old Master Zhu had cried upon seeing Zhu Baoquo's body. No one had been able to hold their emotions in. Everyone had simply thought that Wang Yang had been frightened stiff because he had heard about how his cousin had been beaten to death. As such, no one had suspected that Wang Yang had actually been scared by Zhu Chenqi at that time. No one had suspected a thing, but Wang Yang had never forgotten how he had felt in that moment. It was only when he had become a father himself did he realize how stupid he had been as a child. Zhu Chenqi had only treated him politely and was willing to smile at him exactly because he treated him as an outsider. It was because Zhu Baoqiu was Zhu Chenqi's only son that Zhu Chenqi was upset when Zhu Baoqiu had a temper, since Zhu Chenqi hoped for his son to make a name for himself. The deeper the love, the greater the anger. Unfortunately, Wang Yang had realized that all too late. Qiao Nan sipped on her tea, feeling as though her heart was even bitterer than the tea in her mouth. What do you think the truth is? Had she witnessed it? If she had the choice, she would much rather have seen it for herself. If she had seen it, she would have called for help and saved Zhu Baoqiu as she had done in her dream. The Zhu family did indeed have huge riches that tempted someone like Wang Yang, but she had no desire for them at all. There was no way she would have exchanged Zhu Baoqiu's life for those. If she loved money so much, Ding Jiyi would never have gotten the chance to take so much out of her pockets to fund Qiao Zijin. She had always felt that relationships were more important than money. In her eyes, Zhu Baoqiu was a younger brother and also half a son. If she could exchange money for Zhu Baoqiu's life, she wouldn't hesitate for a moment to do so. Zhu Baoqiu's existence wouldn't bring back just one family's happiness but two families. Wang Yang laughed bitterly. If he had already known the answer to that, he wouldn't even have bothered looking for Qiao Nan today. Chapter 2344, You're Impressive, 3. He obviously knew how much Qiao Nan hated him. Why would he humiliate himself? It was precisely because he didn't understand and wanted to understand that he would find Qiao Nan today. He took the initiative to reconcile. I don't know. Qiao Nan, you're right. I don't stand a chance at winning this lawsuit at all. Indeed. Whether I withdraw the lawsuit or not has no impact on you, as you don't value everything from the Zhu family as much as I do. I just don't want to be a fool. Did you tell my uncle about this, or did he? Wang Yang was most unwilling to accept the latter result, which was that Zhu Chenqi had always known that Zhu Baoqiu's death had had a lot to do with him. Father Wang's love for Wang Yang was always that he spoke more but did less. All these years, Wang Yang had always been taking care of Zhu Chenqi. Different from Father Wang, Zhu Chenqi's care for Wang Yang had always been that he did more but spoke less. Every time this happened, Father Wang would run to Wang Yang and ask for credit when Zhu Chenqi didn't say anything else. See? The idea I gave you back then was good, right? I pointed you to a road that leads to Rome. Without me, you won't be anything today. As such, you must remember that you have what you have today because of me, your biological father. You have to be more filial to me in the future and listen to my words. Don't mingle with your stupid mother and learn your mother's habit of doing stupid things. Zhu Chenqi was obviously the one who helped Wang Yang. When Father Wang claimed credit, it was as if everything was done by him instead. At that time, Wang Yang had a good relationship with Father Wang. He understood in his heart that Father Wang's words were exaggerated and that Zhu Chenqi was the one who decided on everything. However, one was his biological father and the other was his uncle who didn't devote himself to him. Between the two, Wang Yang didn't hesitate to acknowledge his biological father claiming all credit and become more filial to him in the future. Time had passed. Now that Wang Yang thought about it carefully again, he felt that Father Wang and he were ridiculous. Ridiculously stupid, that is. From the beginning to the end, he had never made a correct judgment and a right choice. These were enough to make Wang Yang suffer. With the example of Father Wang, who knew how to say but not do things, before him, Wang Yang couldn't accept that his uncle, who had taken care of him so much previously, maintained such an attitude after long knowing that he was the one who had harmed his son. This situation illustrated only one point: Zhu Qinqi had ulterior motives for being kind to him. There was a high possibility that Zhu Qinqi brought him up well as he wished, so that he would experience what it was like to fall from heaven to hell. Knowing that he had such a biological father was enough for Wang Yang to start doubting his life. If Zhu Qinqi's kindness to him was fake as well, and that it was just to harm him, Wang Yang really didn't know how he should face his life in the future. Qiaonan really detested Wang Yang's selfish nature, where he only allowed himself to harm others but not allowing others to harm him. Until now, Wang Yang didn't know what he had done wrong. He only knew how to be calculative and see if others did him wrong. He didn't reflect on how many things he had done wrong and how many people had lost their happiness because of him. Wang Yang, there's no significance to your question at all. What I can answer you is that if you don't want people to know what you did, then don't do it. When it was too early, indeed, no one had suspected you for Zhu Baoquo's death. After all, you were just a teenager back then. As time passed, your nature was exposed and doubts started to form. Also, there's something you haven't figured out yet. Godfather has the final say for everything in the Zhu family. The Zhu family isn't a court where everything needs to be based on evidence. It's enough if my godfather has doubts about certain matters and knows it in his heart. As such, it was a waste of effort for the Wang family to help you so much back then. Qiaonan didn't understand how the Wang family and Wang Yang had such naive thoughts. They felt that unless her godfather had sufficient evidence to prove that Zhu Baoquo's death was related to Wang Yang, even if her godfather had doubts about Wang Yang, he couldn't deny him and not give everything from the Zhu family to him because of his personal emotions. That was absurd. Yes. Wang Yang covered his face. It was unknown if he did that because he was angry or embarrassed. In comparison, my uncle was really good to me. Based on what you said just now, can I say that my uncle had indeed known about this matter? Wang Yang was the same as Mother Zhu. Even if Zhu Qinqi brought out a lot of reasonable reasons why he wanted to leave the Zhu family's inheritance to Qiaonan, he wouldn't agree to it. However, if Zhu Baoquo's death was brought out, Wang Yang was no longer as confident as before. You should be thankful that you're my godfather's biological nephew and that my godfather wasn't someone ruthless. Otherwise, it's nothing that he wasn't willing to give you everything from the Zhu family. All these years, you had relied on him to climb up the ranks. My godfather had the right to step on you until you became that young lad who had just graduated from school. My godfather's kind enough to you. You're the greedy one who did something sorry to my godfather and even wanted to take away all his inheritance. Is it hereditary that your Wang family's face is so big? Wang Yang didn't dare to rebut anything when Qiaonan jeered at him like this. Wang Yang came to find Qiaonan today for two purposes. Firstly, he wanted to reconcile. He felt that as long as he no longer wanted the Zhu family's inheritance, his mother might feel better in her heart and stop tormenting herself like this. Secondly, he wanted to understand clearly who had revealed the secret such that Zhu Qinqi suspected that he had to do with Zhu Baoquo's death. If Zhu Qinqi had really known the truth about Zhu Baoquo's death, Wang Yang would no longer doubt the contents of that will. He would feel that his efforts in recent years were worthless. No matter how well he took care of Zhu Qinqi, he wasn't Zhu Baoquo. Compared to a nephew, Zhu Qinqi would naturally desire his biological son's care more. Furthermore, he didn't carry a good attitude toward Zhu Qinqi. His feelings for him weren't real. However, at this second, even though Wang Yang had not gotten his answer, he had lost the motivation to probe further. Was it important if Zhu Qinqi knew about it first or if Qiaonan was the one who told Zhu Qinqi? It wasn't. No matter who told whom, it couldn't change the result that he was a big loser. Don't worry. I'll keep to my promise. After returning, I'll call my lawyer and get him to withdraw the lawsuit. Everything from the Zhu family belongs to you. Qiaonan, you're formidable. Wang Yang said, not willing to take this lying down. Chapter 2345, Dying. What a joke. 1. He had clearly sent Chen Jun to get close to Xiao Nan so that he could ruin Xiao Nan's image in Zhu Chenqi's heart. Who would have known that Chen Jun would really fall in love with Xiao Nan and want to marry her? After knowing this situation, Wang Yang became very unhappy. However, Chen Jun said that as long as the goal was achieved, Wang Yang didn't need to care if he and Xiao Nan would be together, as that wouldn't affect Wang Yang's plans. It was also because of Chen Jun's words that Wang Yang shifted his attention away from Xiao Nan. He had spent quite some effort on Xiao Nan. However, he lost in the end. Who in this world would be able to take this lying down if they encountered such a situation? He never treated or bothered to treat Xiao Nan as an opponent. However, this old virgin who didn't utter a word even though she was always bullied by the two amazing characters in the family had defeated him. Wang Yang wasn't willing to admit that he was that useless. Xiao Nan wrapped her arms around her chest. You don't have to tell me this. All along, I have felt at ease. With my husband around, what's there for me to worry about? She wasn't Wang Yang. Those so-called family members in the Wang family had hidden a lot of scheming thoughts and played tricks with Wang Yang. The Wang family was already in such a mess. Could Wang Yang still count on the Wang family to help him tide over this difficulty and win this case? It was still broad daylight now. It was too early to dream. The conversation between the two ended. Xiao Nan was willing to waste her time talking to Wang Yang so that she could see his badly defeated look. There was no choice. Wang Yang had caused so many people to have misfortunes in this lifetime, letting their happiness slip by. Couldn't she take a few more looks at Wang Yang's bad luck? Of course, Xiao Nan saw a lot of it today. Xiao Nan, who was in a good mood, said that she had to eat half a bowl of rice more during dinner after she reached home. Wang Yang's expression and state of mind today made her gain an appetite. As to why Wang Yang would have such a change today and would even be willing to withdraw the lawsuit, Xiao Nan wasn't interested to find out. What she could guess was that the reason for Wang Yang's change definitely wasn't something that would make him happy. However, anything that could make Wang Yang suffer was something good. Since this was something good, why did she have to ask so clearly? The Zai family didn't ask about Xiao Nan's late return today. Only the three children clung to Xiao Nan as they hadn't seen their biological mother for a day. They snuggled into her arms and rubbed their small faces against Xiao Nan's body, reached out their chubby arms for a hug, and asked Xiao Nan to feed them water or get them fruits. Xiao Nan pampered the three children to begin with. Coupled with her good mood today, how would she not satisfy them? 2 hours before dinner, Xiao Nan placed all her attention and energy on the three children. She played with them until they kept giggling like little hens. Even during dinner time, the hungry children refused to leave Xiao Nan's side. They patted the children's chair with their little hands and only wanted their mother to feed them. It's fine. Go ahead and eat first. I'm not hungry yet. I'll feed them first. Xiao Nan indulged them. The three children were like young birds as they opened their mouths, waiting to be fed. Xiao Nan knew her children. She had 3 small bowls and spoons by her side. Starting with Dabeo, she fed each child 1 spoonful. After 1 round of feeding, Dabeo had finished swallowing his food. As a mother of 3 children, Xiao Nan had long learned how to feed them at a fast speed. As such, even under the watch of 3 pairs of eyes from the Zai family, Xiao Nan was composed and fed the 3 children well. Miaojing was so impressed that she said, "Our triplets are really blessed to have such a good mother like Nan Nan." Her speed and gesture of feeding were simply top-notch. Being complimented by her mother-in-law, Xiao Nan had no intention to be proud. She was the mother of these triplets for 2 lifetimes. How would she not have practiced her speed? They were the same children. They naturally had the same temper and habits. At the beginning of her dream, Xiao Nan was still not as trained yet and didn't manage to feed them quickly enough, causing them to be anxious. Outside of her dream, everything went smoothly for Xiao Nan and she served the 3 children well. Zai Sheng frowned. If not for the three children being young and had no strength in their wrists such that letting them eat on their own would equate to wasting food, Zai Sheng would have stuffed the forks into the children's hands and asked them to feed themselves. Such pampering was. Since Nan Nan was a loving mother, he had to be a strict father. Otherwise, these three children would be pampered by the adults in the family so much that they became spoiled brats. Such examples close to him included Zai Hua, Zhu Baoqiu, and Wang Yang. Zai Sheng didn't wish for his children to follow in their footsteps and make the same mistakes as them. Zai Hua, who was far away in Pingcheng, couldn't help but sneeze. This scared Jia, who was having a meal together with her at home. "Mom, are you all right? Did you catch a cold?" Zai Hua wiped her nose with a tissue. "Don't you know how healthy I am? I'm guessing that it's your uncle in the capital who's speaking badly of me in front of your aunt now. Your uncle's so cheeky since he was a child. He can't be managed well." Once Jia, who gradually had an understanding of her uncle Zai Sheng, heard such unreliable words from her biological mother, her facial muscles couldn't help but twitch. Jia took a bite of rice. Compared to her uncle, her mother would be the cheekier one, right? Zai Sheng and Qiaonan didn't know what happened in Pingcheng. At night, Qiaonan similarly coaxed the three children to sleep before attending to her personal hygiene. When Qiaonan lay on the bed, Zai Sheng hugged her tightly and suppressed her such that it was the classic position of man on top, woman below. Upon seeing this situation, Qiaonan understood. It looked like they were going to have a great round at it tonight. Zai Sheng could be said to finally have his wife's attention on him after suppressing the soft Qiaonan under him. He asked, "What happened today? Why are you so happy?" Qiaonan, who was in a good mood, wasn't afraid of death at all. She also forgot about Zai Sheng's terrible combat power. She put her arms around Zai Sheng's neck, raised her upper body, and kissed Zai Sheng's lips. She even missed Zai Sheng's red eyes for a moment. "A scumbag came to find me. He deserved a beating. How could I let him off? I feel good after tormenting him." Qiaonan didn't say it explicitly. As husband and wife, Zai Sheng understood Qiaonan's meaning. "Wang Yang went to find you. He was the only scumbag Nan Nan would talk about recently." Chapter 2346, Dying? What a joke! 2. Qiaonan's eyes lit up and she planted a kiss on Zai Sheng's lips. "Dear, you're the best. You hit bullseye." Zai Sheng, who had received 2 kisses, was not at all satisfied. In fact, his desire had only gotten stronger. His hands quickly removed Qiaonan's clothes as well as his own. "If that's great, there's something even better." Qiaonan's eyes widened as she thought about how this man was a wolf. As for whether it was good, the exhausted Qiaonan could only think about breaking this stick in front of her. It was rare for Wang Yang to have come to such a decision about the Zhu family's assets. The second day, Qiaonan crawled out of bed with much difficulty. Although she had no classes, she was sure that the triplets would kick up a fuss if they didn't see their mother. Having finally coaxed the 3 children, Qiaonan was just about to settle her first meal for the day when she received a call from the lawyer. "Hello, Madam Jiao. I have a piece of good news for you. I just received a call from the court. The other party has withdrawn the lawsuit. From now on, Chief Zhu's will be valid. Congratulations on inheriting the Zhu family's assets. If you are free, please come to our office and handle the paperwork." "All right, I understand. Thank you. I'll head there tomorrow to get the paperwork done." After hanging up, Qiaonan kissed San Bao's chubby face. It was good news that the lawsuit had finally come to an end. San Bao was elated at being kissed by her mom and she grabbed onto Qiaonan's face with her chubby hands, insisting on returning the kiss. Seeing that, De Bao and Bao hurried over. Since their younger sister had kissed their mom, they had to do so too. In the blink of an eye, the mother and children were bunched up together, kissing each other's faces. Since Wang Yang had withdrawn his lawsuit, it was naturally much easier for Qiao Nan to inherit all of the Zhu family's assets. She had simply signed a few papers for the Zhu family's assets to legally be in her hands. Of course, Qiao Nan had not forgotten about her original intentions and had taken a sum of money to support elderly people living alone. The end of this lawsuit had caused quite a stir in the capital. Many people were surprised by the result, but others thought that it was only expected. Everyone watched as a girl from the countryside rose to become the master of the Zhu family. Now, Qiao Nan was wealthy and no longer just a country bumpkin. More importantly were the resources that Zhu Chenqi had left to Qiao Nan. Those were enviable indeed. In the past, everyone had thought that Zai Sheng had been blind to choose someone like Qiao Nan as his wife. Although Qiao Nan looked decent, she wasn't the most beautiful woman in the world. No matter how good she looked, nothing could conceal the fact that she was an unmarried woman of almost 40 years old. Zai Sheng had married and treasured a woman whom no one else wanted. How stupid Zai Sheng was! What made others even more speechless was that Zai Yaowai and Miaojing had gone crazy as well. They had not even tried to stop their son and had allowed Qiao Nan into the Zai family. Zai Yaowai and Miaojing had probably been too upset by the fact that Zai Sheng was still single at his age. They were probably willing to accept anyone as long as they were women. If they had known that the Zai family's standards were so low, they would definitely have put their daughters forward. There was a long line of single ladies who had much better qualifications than Qiao Nan. But now, no one dared to say anything of that sort. The mention of Qiao Nan now always made others sour. It seemed like that old woman had some real potential. Who would have expected Qiao Nan to have such great luck to be Zhu Chenqi's goddaughter? Zhu Chenqi had even written a will to leave his assets to an outsider like Qiao Nan instead of his own nephew. Before this lawsuit ended, this sum of money was still an unknown figure to Qiao Nan. But now, everything had been settled and Qiao Nan had become the legal owner of all of the Zhu family's assets. Zai Sheng had made the right call in marrying Qiao Nan. No one in Zai Sheng's generation or anyone younger had married anyone better than Qiao Nan. If they were to compare their backgrounds, Qiao Nan would beat them in an instant now that she had control of the Zhu family's assets. Not everyone could have such good judgment and luck. Now, everyone felt terribly uncomfortable. Why? In terms of abilities, there was truly no one who could match up to Zai Sheng unless they could set a new record to take Zai Sheng's place. After all, he was the nation's youngest chief in history. But they had thought that their sons, who had not been able to beat Zai Sheng in terms of capabilities, had finally beat him in terms of marrying good wives, at the very least. It didn't matter if they weren't capable, but listening to the advice of elders and marrying a good wife was good nonetheless. Who would have known that Zai Sheng would have beaten them in that aspect too? Not only had Qiao Nan's attack been sudden, but it had also been too impressive. The number of people who had such great fortune like Qiao Nan could probably be counted on one hand. Even with such a low likelihood, Qiao Nan had been one of those. Wasn't that even better than winning the lottery? The old woman whom Zai Sheng had married had suddenly become a golden ticket. But no amount of envy could bring that sort of luck to other families. Their wives would never become their golden tickets, much less have Qiao Nan's luck. The only thing these people felt good about was comparing themselves to the Wang family. Now that Qiao Nan had become the master of the Zhu family, the Wang family had taken the greatest hit. After learning about this news, many were betting on members of the Wang family dying from anger. Besides, would Wang Yang still have the face to return to the Wang family in the future? He might very well be chased out of the house. Everyone knew that there was no way Wang Yang would have taken the entire Zhu family's assets for himself even if he were to inherit them. They would probably have become the collective property of the Wang family. As such, Wang Yang's painstaking efforts in fighting the lawsuit against Qiao Nan would only have benefited others. But now, Qiao Nan was the one who had benefited from it. The Wang family, who had already thought about how to make use of the money and resources, could forget about doing so. Just as everyone had guessed, the Wang family had already found out about this result before Wang Yang had let them know about it. Chapter 2347, Dying? What a joke! 3. Father Wang was naturally the one who had had the biggest reaction to it. He dialed Wang Yang's number non-stop until Wang Yang picked up. Seeing this, Wang Yang knew that the Wang family must have found out about him withdrawing the lawsuit. That was exactly why he wanted to avoid it. Mother Zhu's condition had finally stabilized, and the recent events had thrown Wang Yang into a frenzy. Wang Yang wanted nothing more than for Mother Zhu to recover well. Yes, he had killed Zhu Baoqiu, but he had already handed all of the Zhu family's assets over to Jiaonan. There was no need for his mom to feel so miserable anymore. Now that his mom was feeling better, it was his dad's turn to feel miserable. Upon picking up the phone, Wang Yang wisely chose to put the phone a distance away from his own ear. As expected, Father Wang's roar was terribly loud. "Wang Yang, are you stupid? Who allowed you to be so bold? How could you withdraw the lawsuit behind my back? Wang Yang, do you still think of me as your father? How could you do this without even discussing it with me? Who gave you the right to do that? Was it your mom?" Father Wang could not understand the situation. Although Mother Zhu had a nasty temper, she was extremely protective of her son. As such, she would never allow anyone to snatch anything away from her son. If it had not been Mother Zhu who had asked Wang Yang to withdraw the lawsuit, Wang Yang would never have done such a foolish thing. Hearing the news, Father Wang's blood pressure had shot up so rapidly that he had nearly been sent to the hospital. He had insisted on not being hospitalized because he had to take charge of the situation and turn the tide. Even without the Wang family's reminder, Father Wang knew that he could not afford to crumble at this moment. If he fell, Wang Yang would continue with his blunder. Then, the Wang family would really crumble, and there was no way they were ever going to recover from this. They would have missed out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Perhaps, withdrawing the lawsuit would mean that he had wasted all his efforts in marrying a woman whom he had not even liked in the first place. His entire life's worth of effort had been in vain. Father Wang was never going to let Wang Yang screw up his efforts, even if Wang Yang was his only son. "I'm telling you that you can't drop this lawsuit. I've told you 100 times that the Zhu family's assets are our family's. You can only win this lawsuit. You can't afford to lose it. Even if you have to give up your life for it, you have to take back the Zhu family's assets for the Wang family. Even if you die, I'll still be able to support your son with that money. The Zhu family's inheritance is more important than your life. Hurry and make a call and hire the best lawyers. Continue with the lawsuit against Jiaonan. Do you hear me?" Father Wang felt his anger rising up within him as he shouted as his son, so much so that he was feeling faint. How much bad karma had he accumulated in his past life to have gotten such a son? "You're really heartless if you choose to listen to your mom. Do you really think that your grandpa did what he did to protect the Wang family and not you? Have you forgotten how well your grandpa treated you while he was still alive? This isn't just my wish. It was your grandpa's dying wish." Left with no other choice, Father Wang could only mention old Master Wang in the hopes that Wang Yang's passion would be reignited. Then, he would continue bugging Jiaonan until the very end so that Jiaonan would give up and compromise. They could not afford to admit to defeat. It was only after Father Wang finished his words that Wang Yang replied, "I've already dropped the case. Given the efficiency of the lawyers hired by the Zai family, I'm sure the Zhu family's assets are no longer the Zhu family's. They're already the Chiao family's. Even if I continue with the lawsuit, it won't change that fact." Wang Yang knew that he had given up all chances of fighting with Jiaonan the moment he dropped the lawsuit. As such, Wang Yang wanted nothing more than for his mother to calm down and for the family of four to live well from then on. As for the Wang family, that wasn't his family. At least, it wasn't his Wang family. If the Wang family felt that he had been unfilial and had wronged them, he would simply not return and be a bother to them. They could live their own separate lives from now on. You. Father Wang twitched and he quickly swallowed a pill for his heart. This is an order, not a suggestion. You'd better follow my order. You shouldn't have your personal opinion. You'd better follow my instructions. I'm telling you again that you can lose your life, but before that happens, you'd better take back all of the Zhu family's assets. Father Wang had no desire to listen to any of Wang Yang's nonsense. All he wanted to see was a result. He couldn't allow Wang Yang to ruin the efforts of several generations of the Wang family. The Wang family was waiting to make a return from the grave and to create a better future with the Zhu family's assets. He'd rather lose his son than lose the Zhu family's money and resources. But Wang Yang was no fool either. Father Wang had reiterated that Wang Yang could sacrifice his life in order to get the Zhu family's inheritance. What did that mean? His dad was clearly hinting that he had to use some special underhanded methods in order to reach his goals. A small sacrifice was both necessary and worth it. In the past, Wang Yang had agreed with that. If not for Zhu Baoqiu's sacrifice, he would never have become the master of the Zhu family. Now that he was becoming the sacrificial lamb, Wang Yang laughed. These words were no longer pleasing to his ear. He had an aged and ill mother by his side, a young and innocent son, as well as a good wife. He had so many dependents. Why should he abandon these people whom he cared about and sacrifice his life just for the Wang family to lead comfortable lives? Sorry, he had never been brought up to believe in such warped ideas in the Wang family. He wasn't going to accept that. He would never kidnap or harm Jiaonan, nor force Jiaonan and the Zai family to give up the Zhu family's assets. If he were to do so, he might very well face the Zai family's revenge, go to prison, or even be sentenced to death. He wasn't so noble, and neither was the Wang family worth it. He felt that his dad was being ridiculous. Perhaps, everyone else in the Wang family was his father's biological sons. Only he had been picked up from the trash. His father would much rather lose a son so that his brothers and nephews would prosper. He only mentioned his son so that his son could sacrifice his life for the rest of the Wang family. What a joke! Chapter 2348, A Good Son, 1. I'm talking to you. Did you hear me? Father Wang was infuriated. He understood his own son. He couldn't have been more explicit with his intentions. Wang Yang should have understood him perfectly well. Besides, Wang Yang was no stranger to this. He should deal with Jiaonan exactly how he had with Zhu Baoqiu. Wang Yang had already shirked the responsibility of Zhu Baoqiu's death. Even if he couldn't avoid punishment for Jiaonan's matter, Wang Yang wouldn't be at a loss. After all, he would have gotten rid of both inheritors of the Zhu family's assets and would make a fortune from it. Wang Yang had a son, who was his only grandson. Since Wang Yang had made a sacrifice for the Wang family, no one in the Wang family would dare to object to him dedicating more resources to his grandson. After all, he had sacrificed his son to bring the Wang family to what they were today. As such, Father Wang was clear that he would have the greatest say in the Wang family once Wang Yang gave his life for the Wang family. He would be the master over the entire Wang family. He hadn't been able to do so while his dad had still been alive, but he would definitely achieve it because of his son, Wang Yang. Wang Yang took a sip of tea to calm down. I heard you. That's good. Hurry and get it done then. The Zai family must be overjoyed because you dropped the lawsuit. Even their family would rejoice if they were to chance upon such a windfall. The Zai family must have lowered their guards now. It's the best time for you to deal with Jiaonan now. Remember that you have only one chance. You'd better plan carefully and succeed on your first try. Don't worry. You're my son and I have only one grandson. I can assure you that the greatest benefactor of this all will be our family and my grandson. Others can only ride on our laurels. Wang Yang, you're a dad too. I'm sure you want the best for your son, just like me. If I had the choice, I wouldn't let you take such a great risk. No one can stand the pain of sending off someone younger than them. But at critical moments like this, we must be decisive and determined. We're doing everything for the sake of our future generations. Your son will definitely have whatever you didn't. No matter what, that sum of money would end up in their pockets. They would not be at a loss no matter what. It was worth it for Wang Yang to take that risk. Wang Yang felt a chill run down his spine as he listened to his dad's words. His dad was already making him a slave to the Wang family so that the Wang family could live comfortably while he was still alive. How could he possibly count on his father to be dedicated to his son's success once he was dead? To put it bluntly, it would be a struggle for his dad to live for any more than another few years. Wang Yang dared not trust anyone else to raise his son. No one else would love his son and be willing to make sacrifices for his son like him. Dad, are you done? Yes, hurry and settle it. Talk wasn't important. Actions were. Oh, Wang Yang replied indifferently. Dad, I understood everything you said. That's good. When are you going to give me a satisfactory result? He had to see the results urgently. His whole family was waiting for him. It didn't feel good having his brothers eye him with suspicion and criticism. What he enjoyed were the Wang family's respect and admiration. Wang Yang put down his teacup. I'll never be able to give you a satisfactory answer. Dad. You're not young anymore. It's time to enjoy your life. My son is still young and mischievous. Sometimes, even I can't handle him well. How could I put such a heavy burden on you? That would be too unfilial of me. Don't worry. As long as I'm around, you'll never need to worry about my son. Father Wang could sense that something was amiss. What do you mean? Are you? Dad, I think I've made myself pretty clear. I can't do any of those things you said. I'm not young anymore. I can't bear to leave my wife alone, much less let my son lose his father at such a young age. I can't trust anyone to raise my son. Besides, I don't just have a dad. I have a mom too. I can't possibly think of giving up my life just because of you and forget about my mom. Dad, you'd better get someone else to settle this matter for you. I can't do it. Wang Yang had never liked Jiao Nan. If not for the special situation that Mother Zhu was in, Wang Yang would never have dropped the lawsuit even if he knew the true reason behind Zhu Chenqi's will. Yes, he had caused Zhu Baoquo's death. But so what if Zhu Chenqi had known about it? Had he not been afraid when he had done that at such a young age? He had endured so much hardship and paid a price for Zhu Baoquo's death. Wasn't it only right for him to get remuneration for that? His uncle, Zhu Chenqi, had never been sincere toward him anyway. So, there was no need for him to respect Zhu Chenqi's will. He would fight for what was rightfully his. While Wang Yang could choose to ignore Zhu Chenqi, he could not afford to ignore his mother. He knew that his mother's anger would not dissipate even if he passed away. In fact, she would even lose all will to live. He could not possibly give up his life just for his father's sake, but he was willing to live well for his mother's sake. Compared to his father, Wang Yang cared much more about his mother. Whether or not Wang Yang had been close to his father in the past, Wang Yang was now closer to his mother because he had seen through his father's true intentions. Dad, I think that I was even more direct than you were. You can do whatever you want. I've already chosen to withdraw from this battle, so I won't be so shameless as to demand to share the spoils if you succeed. As your son, I'll definitely hope that you'll succeed. I'll congratulate you in advance. With that, Wang Yang hung up. Good, good. I really raised a good son. He's using everything I taught him against me now. Father Wang was infuriated and smashed the phone. Hearing Wang Yang sounding so dignified, Father Wang was clear that Wang Yang would never try to ride on their laurels even if they were to succeed. Chapter 2349, A Good Son, 2. But he was a fool for not wanting to ride on the laurels of others. It didn't matter if others said anything about them. What could matter more than one's own interests? But now that Wang Yang had already made his stance clear, Father Wang had lost the ability to force Wang Yang to do anything. In the past, he had not needed to work for him to reap the benefits. But now, Father Wang was furious at being schemed against by his own son. Before this, he had always thought that his son had always been obedient to him. There was no way Wang Yang would have ever rebelled against him. But here they were. Wang Yang had given up on the matter and had directly asked Father Wang to look for someone else to deal with it. With no reason to hold on. Father Wang was angered so much so that he had been admitted into the hospital. There, the doctors diagnosed Father Wang with a stroke from excessive anger. There was no way of recuperating completely, but as long as his family members took care of him well, Father Wang's condition would not be completely disastrous as compared to other patients. Wang Yang had remained silent for a long while after receiving the news. He had not discussed the matter with Li Yan and had instead gone to his mother. Mother Zhu was still disappointed in Wang Yang, but the moment she knew that Father Wang had intended on sacrificing Wang Yang for the sake of the entire Wang family and had been hospitalized as a result, Mother Zhu replied, "It's true that you're the main reason your dad's in his current state. But I know your dad's temper well. He'll probably wish that he didn't have a son like you and he'll refuse to see you now." No matter how much Father Wang had been proud of his son, Wang Yang, in the past, Wang Yang had immediately turned from a good son to a bad one once he refused to listen to his father. In Father Wang's eyes, the line between good and bad was this superficial. "It's not that we don't want to take care of your dad. But given his feelings now, your dad will only get angry every time he sees you. In that case, his condition might just get from bad to worse. Won't we be harming him then? What has the Wang family said? Has anyone agreed to take care of your dad? Hadn't he been dedicated to the Wang family and had even planned on sending his own son to death for their sakes?" She wanted to see whether the Wang family had any conscience. After all, he had brought all this upon himself. Wang Yang laughed. "There's no one with a conscience in the Wang family. He was a Wang too, and even he was a selfish man. If not for his mom, he would never have cared about Zhu Chenqi's wishes. He would have fought Jiao Nan to death to get the Zhu family's assets. No matter what, he would definitely have made life difficult for Jiao Nan." "That's true." Mother Zhu laughed in agreement. "The most ridiculous thing is that your dad probably knew of this as well. But he still thought that he could be the emperor of the Wang family and have a firm hold over that position. It's fine if no one from the Wang family is willing to take care of your dad. There are old folks' homes in Pingcheng. If your dad's willing to stay there, we'll send him there. Otherwise, we have space in our house. We can just spend some money to hire a caretaker for him." In short, they were never going to bring Father Wang over to the capital. Wang Yang nodded. That was what he had thought of too. Now that his father's position in the Wang family was threatened, his dad would only get angry every time he saw his son. It was better for them to live separately so that he wouldn't anger his dad. That was the least he could do as a filial son. There was no way the Wang family could keep such family matters under wraps, especially from Zai Sheng. He had already gotten someone to investigate this matter and had even gotten them to compile the Wang family's attitudes and words toward the lawsuit into a document for Jiao Nan. After reading through the document, Jiao Nan rolled her eyes. He. I've finally understood how Wang Yang was raised. It would be really amazing if Wang Yang had grown up moral and just in such an environment. Have the Wang family come to a consensus about how to deal with me. It was a lawful society they were living in and she was no longer a nobody in society who could do nothing but cry now if she were to be bullied by the Wang family. Zai Sheng hugged Jiao Nan, scorning the Wang family. Who doesn't want to take advantage of others? But not everyone is willing to take that risk. The greater the benefits, the greater the risk. It was a directly proportional relationship. Everyone liked enjoying benefits, but the Wang family did not have the guts to put their lives and fortune up at stake. Earlier on, Wang Yang had been the vanguard of the Wang family and would always take the lead to solve all of their problems. Now, Wang Yang was no longer willing to cooperate with them. As such, the previously united Wang family crumbled in a moment and there was no one who dared to step forward. From this angle, Wang Yang was indeed the bravest and ambitious of the Wang family. The rest of the Wang family only dreamed of such situations but had no guts to go through with them. Of course, no one in the Wang family was willing to sacrifice their lives to better the lives of others. As such, the atmosphere in the Wang family had changed drastically as soon as Wang Yang stopped interfering in their matters. It was because they had been used to Wang Yang taking the front line that they had taken him for granted and gotten used to simply reaping the benefits. The Wang family doesn't hold influence in the capital. I'm not really worried about them trying to deal with people in Pingcheng either. We've already got our eyes on the Wang family. No matter whom they target, they'll pay for it. In short, the Wang family wasn't all that impressive. If they dared to challenge the law, they would definitely be punished. Xiao Nan was shocked that the Wang family had made such a plan. Zai Sheng kissed Xiao Nan on the forehead. That's true. Don't worry. They won't dare to do anything. It wasn't that Zai Sheng looked down on the Wang family, but the only one with the slightest capability was Wang Yang. Since Wang Yang had already given up, it wouldn't be easy for the Wang family to do anything. Now, the Wang family was truly in a mess. Chapter 2350, A Good Son, 3. Fools had better not even think about committing any crimes, much less doing it. Xiao Nan felt exceptionally safe in Zai Sheng's embrace. With her man propping up her world for her, there was no longer the need for her to worry about everything as she had done before. All she had to do was to remain under Zai Sheng's wings. It was abnormally difficult for the Wang family to do anything against Xiao Nan. The Wang family was not Wang Yang, who had been in the capital for more than a year and had gained connections in a house in the capital because of Zhu Chinqi. Wang Yang still had a way of dealing with Xiao Nan if he tried. But apart from Wang Yang, it was difficult for anyone else in the Wang family to establish themselves in the capital. They had neither money nor connections. Even though they had slight influence in Pingcheng, they were not spared of the difficulties that the Beijing drifters were subject to once they were in the capital. Knowing that that was the case, the Wang family was not so foolish as to choose that path of suffering for themselves. If going to the capital wouldn't work, they still had a way out in Pingcheng. After all, Pingcheng was their hometown. It was true that Xiao Nan was in the capital, but her family was not dead. From what they knew, Xiao Nan's parents were still alive, and she still had an elder sister. As for the relationship between the family of four, that was beyond the concern of the Wang family. No matter how bad their relationship was, they were still a family. There was no way Xiao Nan could stand by and not do anything if their lives were being threatened. Of course, threatening Xiao Nan with the Xiao family was not as good as threatening Zai Sheng with Xiao Nan. But something was always better than nothing. It was much better than seeing the entire Zhu family's fortune become Xiao Nan's alone. It would be good as long as they could get something back. Then, the Wang family would undoubtedly be able to raise a second or third Wang Yang so that Wang Yang wouldn't think that he was the most brilliant and promising amongst the Wang family and look down on them. In the past, Wang Yang might have been a good nephew to the Wang family. But after he had withdrawn the lawsuit and enjoyed the benefits he had reaped from Zhu Chinqi without helping the rest of the Wang family, they had branded him as an ingrate and were no longer willing to give Wang Yang a second chance. Once they succeeded, they would not hesitate to chase Wang Yang out of the Wang family if he dared to change his mind and try to get close to the Wang family. From now on, Wang Yang was no longer part of the Wang family, and neither did they have anything to do with him. The Wang family had truly been enraged. All these years, Wang Yang hadn't even cared about his own parents just for the sake of gaining Zhu Chinqi's favor. Given Zhu Chinqi's position and status, Wang Yang could have made a fortune as long as Zhu Chinqi had given him even just a fraction of his assets. Aside from the will, the Wang family knew that Zhu Chinqi had treated his nephew rather well. It was because of Zhu Chenqi's attitude toward Wang Yang that the Wang family had misplaced their trust in Wang Yang, believing that Wang Yang would definitely bring the Wang family to greater heights after he inherited all of the Zhu family's assets after Zhu Chenqi's death. Then, the Wang family would become the second Zhu family. But now, Wang Yang had become the most promising person in the Wang family with some help from Zhu Chenqi. He had reaped some benefits from staying by Zhu Chenqi's side, but what was the rest of them to do now that the Zhu family's assets had nothing to do with the Wang family? Even though Wang Yang was indeed the most promising amongst them, he was reluctant to help the Wang family in any way. Besides, Wang Yang had clearly stated his intention to settle down in the capital. Unless he had the need to work with the Wang family, they were simply relatives at the very most. Wang Yang would never sacrifice his own interests to benefit his relatives in the Wang family. If they remained in contact, they could perhaps get closer. This was Wang Yang's limit for the Wang family. Because of Wang Yang's attitude, the Wang family had been upset. If Wang Yang had inherited the Zhu family's assets, it would very well have been theirs. With those assets, they would have been able to rise to a position that Wang Yang was in, or even higher. But now, that was gone. And Wang Yang was only willing to remain in contact with them if it was beneficial to him too. The Wang family was helpless. Wang Yang alone had gleaned benefits from Zhu Chenqi while they could only look on and see just how glorious Wang Yang's life was. Apart from envy, there was nothing they could do. How could this happen? Everyone from the Wang family pretty much shared the same thoughts. None of them could stand the fact that Wang Yang had gotten all of those advantages. Since Wang Yang wasn't going to be of any help to them, they would have to find a way to save themselves. After berating Wang Yang in their hearts, the Wang family came to a consensus. If they were to succeed in their plan, they were never going to agree to Wang Yang's request to become their relatives again in the future. Wang Yang had abandoned them in their time of need. There was no way they were going to allow Wang Yang to acknowledge them as relatives once they made a name for themselves. Since Wang Yang was drawing lines with them now, there was nothing wrong in them doing the same toward him. There would eventually come a day when Wang Yang would regret his decision. As for the money that the Wang family had wasted on protecting Wang Yang, they would simply treat it as though they had spent the money feeding dogs or an ingrate. It went without saying that Wang Yang's betrayal led to Father Wang's downfall in the Wang family. The Wang family turned against him, and even Father Wang's brothers treated him with that attitude too. Wang Yang had gotten all the benefits but had spent the Wang family's money and resources while clinging on to his uncle, Zhu Chenqi. Not only was he not grateful toward the Wang family, but he was not even willing to acknowledge his poor relatives now that he had made a fortune for himself. He was an ingrate. Father Wang was the one who had raised such an unfilial son. It was entirely Father Wang's fault that the Wang family had taken such a great hit this time. As such, Father Wang had better not even dream of becoming the head of the household. It was good enough that they were willing to overlook how they had suffered a loss. Because of this, Father Wang had lost all rights to participate in any family discussions in the future. Since Wang Yang refused to acknowledge them, they would keep their distance too.